My favorite Pride memory was definitely in DC because it was my first Pride ever. It was my first year in the US, and seeing the amount of overwhelming support of families bringing out their children and just a tsunami of humans supporting people being LGBTQ put me in tears the moment I saw it. Hosting WorldPride will have a massive impact. DC hosts some of the largest diplomatic missions of the most homophobic countries on the planet. And having a WorldPride knocking on these embassies' doorsteps is massive. And it's going to send a massive message to people back home that are still suffering, that the world can hear them and the world is here for them.
DC is important to the nation because it belongs to all of us, right? Capitol Pride's home is here and hosts hundreds of thousands of folks on an annual basis. And we know how to do that really well. Embracing folks from all around the world. I mean, that's what we do, right? The infrastructure for support of all kinds of events on all scales. And so very little infrastructure has to be developed. We all know how to do this and how to do it well.
So Washington, D.C. is a special place for the LGBTQ+ community because of all of the visibility. Almost everywhere you go, you see gay couples holding hands, you see rainbow flags around the city, you see people in their element laughing. Again, this is the nation's capital, so there's really no better place than D.C. for hosting WorldPride.
I would say my biggest moment of Pride in Washington was when marriage equality finally passed across the country and the White House lit up rainbow. And that's what is really incredible about DC on the world stage. DC is a place for gathering, DC is a place for coming together, and people around the world saw the White House in Washington go rainbow. And we were out there. We were part of that moment, part of that day, and that's a photo that I have framed in my house and I'll remember for the rest of my life.
My perspective as a queer African living in the nation's capital, I think, when we talk about the American dream, it's about having these rights that a lot of people aren't necessarily, granted. Like the fact that I can love openly, I can walk down the street holding my partner's hand, I can, take a picture of myself kissing someone and not worry about like the police knocking on my door because I just exist as I am. DC it's showcasing what the chances of opportunity, freedom, liberty, what that looks like. This queer African is out here thriving in the city, and I think that DC is a pretty amazing place to be.
Well, I believe that it would be very important for the selection committee to choose Washington, D.C., and the reason I think that is, I think it's the time. I think that our movement has enough traction, and I think that right now, with us having a trans representative in the White House, this is something that'll give the White House, the federal government, everyone an opportunity to show that they truly support. So I think while we have the traction before the heat burns off, I think this is the time for us to do it.